Is Delta Force on console feeling slow for you, like it's almost impossible to play? That's exactly what was happening to me. I had a huge input delay that made my controls feel heavy, almost stuck in a mud. Every gunfight felt lost before it even started, and it was so frustrating. It felt less like I was playing a shooter and more like I was fighting my own controller. In this video I will show you the exact settings that changed my game from laggy and unplayable to fast and responsive. I won't just give you a list of settings. You will see the three main graphics modes I test, why two of them are terrible for competitive play, and the one that finally fixed everything. First, we will look at the big graphics settings, and then I will show you my controller sensitivity step to give you aim the final polish. If you have been struggling with performance, this is the video you need. So the first thing you see in the graphics settings, it's a V-Sync. Most people turn it on because they want the game to look good. That's exactly what I did, and it was the worst mistake for competitive play. So what is V-Sync? It matches the game's frame rate to your TV's refresh rate. This stops screen tearing and makes the picture look smooth. And yes, it works. With V-Sync on, the game looked amazing. The image was stable, turning fast, didn't cause weird glitches, and everything was sharp. No ugly lines across the screen when I moved the camera quickly. Visually, it was perfect. But the problem is huge. Massive input delay. My character felt heavy, like running through water. Every move from turning to aiming had about a half-second delay between my stick movement and what I saw on the screen. In game like a Delta Force, where quick reactions decide if you win or lose, this is terrible. It makes the game almost unplayable for serious players. You will lose fights not because of the bad aim, but because the game doesn't react fast enough. The reason is simple. V-Sync creates a delay. It makes the game hold frames until your monitor is ready. This removes screen tearing, but it adds lag. You are trading smooth visuals for slow controls. In a shooter, the trade is never worth it, so my first big lesson was clear. Quality mode with a V-Sync on looks great, but is the worst option for performance. Stay away from it. After that, I tried the opposite, performance mode or frame rate mode. This usually turns V-Sync off and lets your console push as many frames as possible, sometimes more than 60. On paper this sounds perfect, more frames, smoother game, less lag. I turned V-Sync off and switched to frame rate mode. The change was instant. The input lag completely gone. My character moved fast, aiming felt direct, and that heavy delay disappeared. It felt like I had removed weights from my hands. For a moment I thought this was the fix, but then I turned the camera and the whole screen ripped apart. This is screen tearing. It happens when the console sends more frames than the TV can show. You end up seeing pieces of different frames at once, which creates a horizontal tear across the screen. And in this mode, the tearing was horrible. It wasn't just sometimes, it was constant. Every turn, every flick made the picture look broken. Yes, my inputs were fast, but the screen tearing was so distracting I couldn't track enemies. The whole picture looked messy and it was really hard to focus. So even though the controls feel great, the visuals made the game unplayable again. You can't win fights if you can't even see clearly. For me, frame rate mode with the V-Sync off was also a big failure. At this point, both options were bad. Quality mode was slow, performance mode was a tearing mess. But then I tried the third option, and this is what worked. The real solution is turn V-Sync off, but choose the standard graphics mode. This sounds strange at first. Why would graphics mode be better than the frame rate mode? The reason is a balance. Turning V-Sync off removes the big input delay, so controls feel fast again. But by choosing graphics mode, you'll tell the game to stay around 60 FPS instead of going crazy with the frame rate. Most TVs on console only show 60 anyway. The result is the best what you can get on a console. You will get the fast responsive controls without the heavy delay. And the screen tearing is reduced a lot. It doesn't disappear completely. You may still see a little during fast turns. But compared to frame rate mode, it's a small problem you will barely notice in real fights. This was the setting that finally worked for me. Just the right one option. Not too slow, not too broken visually. Input lag is gone, tearing is acceptable, and the game is actually fun and competitive. V-Sync off with standard graphics mode is the most important step to fix Delta Force performance on a console. Fixing the graphic is 90% of the solution. It makes the game playable. But for the last 10% you need to adjust your controller settings. After finding the right graphics setup, I test for hours to get the perfect feel. Here are my settings. Remember, these are personal. Use them as a starting point, then change them to match your style. First, and it's really important, field of view. I set this to the maximum, 120. A hide field of view lets you see more around you. You can spot enemies on the edge of your screen that you might miss otherwise. Next thing is sensitivity. This is very personal. I use a high sensitivity of 230. This allows me to turn fast and snap to enemies quickly. If I get shot down from behind, I can spin instantly. For the beginners, 230 may feel too fast. If that's the case, start lower and raise it step by step as you get used to it. The goal is the highest sensitivity you can control without losing accuracy. Then the stick response curve. I set this to dynamic. This means a small stick movement are slower, giving you better control for long-range aiming. Big stick pushes are faster, letting you turn quickly. It's a mix of precision and speed. For me, it feels natural and balanced. Finally, dead zones. The dead zone is a small center area of your stick where the game ignores movement to stop drift on all controllers. Default are usually too high. Lower them as much as you can without getting drift. For me, it was only 6 because I actually have an alt controller. This makes every small touch register, which feels very responsive. To find your number, keep lowering until your aim starts moving by itself, then increase it slightly. So let's summarize this. The best way to fix Delta Force on console is to turn VSync off and choose the standard graphics modes. This removes input lag while keeping screen tearing low. Then adjust your controls. Max field of view, find a high sensitivity you can manage, set responsive curve to dynamic, and lower dead zones to something like 3 or 6. These are the steps that made Delta Force feel smooth, competitive, and finally fun. If this video helped you to fix your game, please hit subscribe for more guides and tips. I'm always testing new settings to get an advantage. And I'd love to hear from you. Comment below and share what setting are working for you. Did this fix your delay? Do you use a different setup? If you have questions, ask away. I will try to answer them all. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.